Well, good morning to all. Thank you so much for joining Appamada Inquiry today. Flint is traveling, and he has arranged for some folks to be able to take his place for some of the weeks that are coming up. And I am sitting in his seat today, which is a very bracing kind of prospect. Anyway, I'm so glad you're here. Let's sit together for about 15 minutes. And in about 5 minutes, after some more people join us, I'll have a few more, I'll have a few words of guided or guidance for the meditation. It's wonderful to be able to sit with you in such stillness. I want to offer some advice suggested by Robert Rosenbaum in his new book, That Is Not Your Mind, Zen Reflections on the Surangama Sutra. He quotes the Indian teacher Tilopa, who lived about 1,000 years ago, in what Tilopa called 6 pieces of advice, or 6 words of advice. For sitting, he suggests, don't recall, let go of what has passed. Don't imagine, let go of what may come. Don't think, let go of what is happening now. Don't examine, don't try to figure anything out. Don't control, don't try to make anything happen. Rest, relax right now and rest. And Rosenbaum links these to Dogen's instructions for meditation. Do not think good or bad. Do not judge true or false, right or wrong. Give up the operations of mind, intellect, and consciousness. Stop measuring with ideas, thoughts, and views. Please join me in saying the robe chant 3 times. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. Wearing the universal teaching, I realize the one true nature, thus harmonizing all being. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. Wearing the universal teaching, I realize the one true nature, thus harmonizing all being. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. Wearing the universal teaching, I realize the one true nature, thus harmonizing all being. Thank you so much again for joining Appamada Inquiry today. I want to thank Maria for being our online monitor. She and the others who perform this role this is such a wonderful service for the Sangha. And I just am feeling very strongly that I'm being held in this cloud of loving kindness and generosity and forbearance too. It's a wonderful thing to be able to join you today. I also want to thank Peg. I've lost Peg's window on the screen here. There she is. I see that Peg is sitting in the kitchen at what used to be her house at the Appamada Zendo in Austin. Peg, I don't know if you can unmute, but I'm gathering that you must have been trapped by weather in Austin.
Yes. That my flight was canceled. I knew this was coming, so I rescheduled for Friday.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. Well, okay, so I have a few reflections I want to offer on kind of taking off from what the instructions from Tilopa before. Don't recall, don't imagine, don't think, don't examine, don't control. Rest, relax right now and rest. These are wonderful words, but reading them, I'm also reminded of the first teachings of the Buddha, that the first noble truth, or the first step on the path, as it's sometimes called, translated by Thanissaro Bhikkhu, the first noble truth is, now this monk is the noble truth of stress. Birth is stressful, aging is stressful, death is stressful. Sorrow, lamentation, pain, distress, and despair are stressful. Association with the unbeloved is stressful. Separation from that which is loved is stressful. Not getting what is wanted is stressful. In short, the 5 clinging aggregates are stressful. The Buddha's definition leans heavily on the effects of what external events have on us: birth, aging, sickness, death. I want to add that since we have bodies and minds, we inhabit the present, and that means we are navigating a shifting and sometimes hostile environment, but always shifting. At the same time, our minds are operating, whether we like it or not. Our minds are constantly evaluating the past, although that evaluation may take place far below the level of conscious thought, and simultaneously planning to avoid our minds are planning to avoid mistakes and to keep us fed and sheltered in the future and moving forward, to pass along the genetic instructions that created our bodies. Every moment of existence, combining all these different currents, is a kind of stress. I think it's true for us as humans. It's certainly true for other primates and mammals, and I imagine that it's true for all forms of life, even as seemingly simple as amoebas and bacteria, which have to take in sustenance, to maintain a boundary with the world and to reproduce. And so here is Tilopa saying, don't plan, don't try and figure things out, don't control. In a way, I think he might as well be saying, Uh, don't metabolize food. Don't breathe. Don't secrete bile from your liver and those other organs. These are simply things that happen, and stress is built into the situation in a way that I think goes beyond even what the Buddha was pointing to. And I will add one other thing: language. Here I am. I'm making some sounds using a part of my body that I can hear with another part of my body, and I hope that those sounds can connect with you and communicate with you, and that will bind us together in the community, or continue binding us together in the community that our shared language and history have built so far. Um, the language is gloriously flexible at conveying ideas and emotions, but it's also a map that can never fully match the territory. What you hear is conditioned by your past experiences, which almost certainly diverge from mine. So using words and hearing words is a stressful activity. We are struggling to make sense out of vibrations that come through the air. So I talk about this stress and emphasize this so much because of what we are doing in coming together. We are coming together in loving kindness, sympathetic joy, forbearance, and compassion. And as Peg and Flint have said dozens of times that I've heard, we cannot really control the conditions of our lives, but we have a choice in any moment to be the person that we want to be within those conditions. So that's what I am thinking about. That's what I'm practicing with today. And I invite any questions or reflections on where we are today from anyone who wants to come forward. Nilda, thank you for raising your hand and coming forward.
Hi, Joel. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
And hello, everyone. As I was listening to you, and thank you for taking this seat with so much that comes with it, so much responsibility and care and love for all of us. And as I was sitting here listening to you, what came up for me is how strange it is, because we're all connected right now by technology. But despite the technology, how much warmth I feel just sitting here with each of you, just looking at each of you, listening to you, Joel, bring forth just the right words to bind us together. And of course, seeing Peg is so lovely, seeing all of you. And I just find it how lovely that because of technology, and yet even in spite of technology, I can actually feel the warmth that comes across this screen. And I'm grateful for that. So grateful.
I was trying to speak to something like that. Thank you for putting it that way, Nilda. That I feel the same thing. That
Friends, my internet went out. I don't know if you can hear me.
So I see Joan Harmon has her hand raised. Hi, Joan. Thank you.
Well, I would just like to note what I saw occurred. As life as it is, you are in charge of today and you were gone. And everyone here sat in peace and seemed to be recognizing the opportunity. And I looked, and the number of participants stayed the same. And I wondered what other Zoom group people wouldn't have just gone off to do something else. And I just said, this is our Sangha and our Sangha practicing. It was a beautiful moment. We did miss you though.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Joan. You're totally right. That's exactly what I'm feeling. So tell me about how things are where you are. Are you in Houston? It looks like
No,
from
I'm in Austin,
you're in
and
Austin.
it's chilly, and Austin has closed down. We had to close down Apamata, and we haven't gotten the rain they said we'd get, which always happens, always seems to happen. But it's a lovely unsnow day,
Mhm.
chilly, but you know, there were lots of accidents, as there are. Austin doesn't handle this weather well.
Mhm. Indeed. Thank you for your kindness and generosity in stepping forward in being here to share this odd, utterly precious moment as this entire universe is unfolding with us in these places at this moment right now.
And we're together.
And we're together. Thank you. Robert?
Okay.
I can hear you.
Oh, good. Okay. I have a minor question back to something you said earlier before the blackout that I think you'll expand upon. And I don't know who you were quoting. I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of the teacher you were quoting about. Don't think back, don't plan forward. In all of those instructions, I took that entirely to be pointed at Zazen, at sitting, not as a life daily practice. And so would you expand on that? Your description of it was that we shouldn't, well, not that we shouldn't, but that wasn't meant to be what we do every day. I took it entirely as pointed at sitting.
I agree with you. I also take that as essentially instructions for sitting, and but that it also affects how we approach our day-to-day activities and our moment-by-moment choices within our activities, within the unfolding of the universe that we are in, and the environment that we are in, and the automatic stressors that we are embedded within, and that by following these instructions, these words of advice to relax right now and rest, relinquish planning, relinquish figuring things out, all of those things. Those are just helpful guides, just in the same way as Dogen's instructions. Stop thinking about the future, stop thinking about the past. In fact, think non-thinking, as he says in a different place. That those are guide points for just settling into this moment. And the capacity to do that can be developed even within these other things that are pointing out that are simply part of our physiology and our psychophysiology. Within that, we can take time. We have this human capacity to take time to let things settle and to allow a different kind of wisdom to emerge that doesn't come from planning or struggling or being stressed out, those sorts of things that we normally spend a lot of time doing. And that's the respite that Zazen can offer. It's also the illumination that Zazen can offer. I'm speaking from my personal experience.
Thank you very much, and thanks for your
that,
teaching today. That's
yeah.
good.
Does that seem complete to you, Robert?
It does.
Okay, thank you.
It's hard to leave all those things of life aside. As you said, but I think you explained it very well, and I appreciate your teaching.
Thank you, Robert. Nancy Miller.
Okay.
You're unmuted.
Hi, Joel. I'm from Minneapolis. So I'm from our Awakening Together community here in Minneapolis. That we're a pretty new community, but I'm pretty new to the inquiry. I've only done it a few times, but I want to say that while you were gone and while we were sitting waiting, that I kept thinking, do I feel safe here? I don't know most of these people. And I kept waiting for some nervousness or anxiousness to show up. And it was quite lovely to sit with this group of people that I'm yet to get to know. So, but what I really wanted to say was thank you for bringing the thoughts about your physiology kind of always being with you and always being kind of like active in working to keep us safe, examining the past, so that they can predict the future and try and, maneuver into a place that's as safe as possible. I'm a trained somatic therapist, and so I think about that a lot, but hadn't really put it together as we're sitting, that these things are happening in our bodies all the time, whether we like it or not. And that for the most part, they're doing it to keep us alive and to facilitate wellness as much as possible. But I recently had an experience where I have a 50-year-old son who went through some stem cell transplant, and he's doing well. But I spent 5 weeks in a hotel room with him and his beautiful, wonderful wife. And I came out of that experience, and it's been about a month now, and I'm so exhausted. And the thoughts that you brought today really helped me understand that those 5 weeks I sat, while it didn't feel like I was doing anything, I think my nervous system was working overtime the whole time, partly because I was with my son, who I raised from an infant on. And so trying to stay out of the parent role, but feeling like I want to parent and all those things that are happening in my nervous system were amazing. And I think that's why I'm so exhausted, and I've never really been able to kind of put my finger on it. So I really appreciate your gift today of these thoughts as I sit. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Nancy, and I'm glad that you joined this group and that you feel safe in this group. It's been a wonderful gift to me over the last more than a decade that I've been participating with Appamata to have this community to turn to, and the community has gotten so much bigger and livelier, oddly since the pandemic. But I just thinking about what you were describing, I just, would you say that it's stressful to sit with someone you love whose life is in danger?
Oh, it's exhausting every day.
So it takes energy. It takes energy that is being used up whether you know it or not, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just really honoring how our biology functions, but hadn't really put it into thoughts about sitting zazen, which has been hard this last month for me, because the mind is just so.
Right. Yeah. But you think of the choice that you made. You stayed. You stayed with your son and his wife in that situation, and you made that choice. And some qualities within you sustained you in making that choice, right? You have that capacity.
Yes.
A couple of weeks ago, I led a weekend, very short retreat in which we focused on the Lojong slogans.
Mm.
And one of them focused on the three causes. Number 45 is one that I focused on during this very short retreat period. But one of the points that's made in there is the three causes: find a good teacher, and don't let go of the fact that this is necessary, that training in compassion, training in connection with others is necessary for our lives. And finally, recognize that you have what you need. Now, that's enormously powerful to me. To know as much time as I spend thinking about my own limitations, that I have what I need. I'm living a human life. I have the capacity to connect with others. And in talking today with you, I'm learning more about that capacity. Thank you.
Thank you.
Darcy, welcome.
There we go. Okay, now I can see everyone. Yeah, I was listening to what you had to say, and I felt like I was wanted to respond to what Robert said, but then everything everyone else has said has brought me somewhere else. I'm trying to recall now. So all these instructions, you know, I find that when I sit every day, I just am not capable of bringing them all. And so I just bring myself, whatever that is in that moment, you know. And sometimes, and I can relate to Nancy, it's exhaustion, you know. Whatever it is, the thoughts, sometimes I just recognize it. It's, you know, I'm distracted, but I need to sit because it replenishes, you know, like I just bring myself back. All that can be there, and I'm learning how to sit like right in the middle of it, whatever it is. And I think I wanted to offer it because maybe other people feel like I do sometimes, and that is overwhelmed with getting it right or whatever. And there just isn't a getting it right. There just is it, just sitting. Whatever is going on in me, that's what I take. And it's becoming more and more that it's not just when I'm sitting for Zazen, it's like all day long, whatever's going on, there is that Buddha nature in me that I can go to, and everything else can still be going on, you know.
Everything else will be going on.
I know it is. Isn't that the truth? Yeah.
Well, here's a kind of question that I think gets a lot of Chan students in trouble when they ask it of a teacher. But can you put your finger on what it is that you go to or that you experience when you are able to let everything be what it is and you are seated in meditation and you're able to hold all that? Is there a thing, or is it an absence of a thing? Is there a state or a vessel that holds everything? Is it possible to put that into words? Oh, you're muted again. Sorry,
There.
now I hear you.
I muted myself because my husband's walking in the kitchen right now. Okay, what it is just coming back. It's not an efforting, it's just a coming back. And it's breathing, you know, connecting with the breath. And it can be while I'm sitting zazen or any time throughout the day. And it's a commitment to coming back and not pursuing that rabbit hole, whatever it was, you know, because there are the thoughts about the past and they can be terrible. And there is the anxiety about the future and it can be terrible. And that's going to happen. But it's the bringing myself to zazen, which can happen anytime throughout the day, not just when I'm sitting. That state of not clinging to whatever that is. And
Apologies, Darcy. Sorry to interrupt you. Joel's just disappeared momentarily.
oh dear.
He'll be back soon. I'm really sorry about that. Here's Joel. He's back. I'll reconnect you in a moment, Darcy.
Well, I see Marla has raised her hand. Marla, do you want to try and connect in hopes that it will work out?
Could I just interrupt, Joel? I think Darcy was in the middle of saying some wonderful
thank you so
things,
much.
so if you'd like to continue with Darcy before Marla.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And Darcy, yes, I was afraid that you had finished and that I had cut you off and all of that. So
I'm not sure when you cut out, but I'm happy to be finished. And I thank everyone for listening and sitting with me. And I just encourage you to comment on any of it that I said, because I was wanting your reflections if you had any, but otherwise, I think I'm not sure what you heard and what you didn't, Joel. So go ahead.
Darcy, I don't want to make you go through it all again. I didn't hear anything beyond. I heard the end of my question, and then all of a sudden the screen was frozen, and that was it.
Oh. I have a feeling that everyone else heard it, but you didn't. Is that right?
Yes.
So
well, let's pass over that. Let me say that again, what I'm feeling is this cloud of generosity and care and holding everything even when things are not quite working right. And I feel so blessed to know you, Darcy. Thank you.
thank you.
Marla?
Hi, Joel. I just want to comment on something that's really striking me about our conversation today, and perhaps this observation or this experience is unique to me, but I have read a lot of books by a lot of authors and teachers and leaders and ancestors with guidelines about Zazen. And it's been very helpful to me. But one of the things I've observed in retreats and intensives and practice groups, and even in conversations casually with my spiritual friends, that I don't remember anyone ever comparing personal techniques or practices around Zazen. And I've always noticed that that didn't happen, and thought that it was because it's such a profoundly personal and almost indescribable experience to sit Zazen, and it's completely non-competitive, that it's not like, oh, here's what I do, you should try this, or anything like that. And I'm curious whether I'm the only one who experiences that and understands it to be the reason why we don't sit around and chat or ask a lot of questions of each other about, well, what do you try in Zazen? But it's not like it's a secret because everyone writes about it, but we don't talk about it. And I think that's a beautiful thing, that it's beyond discussion on a personal level.
You make a very good point. I like instructions every once in a while, as a doorway, because I often think, well, I spend a lot of time kind of evaluating, am I doing this right? Am I doing that right? Something that I talked to Peg about in the very first practice discussion I ever had with her. And she gave me some advice I'll never forget, that has a lot to do with my choice of what I've chosen to talk about today. And she said, you can't do it wrong. Zazen is happening in the body. It is not you doing Zazen. Zazen is it's the universe unfolding, and you are participating in it, and you can block it by letting your mind wander or whatever. But just come back, and you're doing it right. That's all you need to know. And that's been great advice for me. On the other hand, I love hearing about meditation techniques that offer doorways into awakening for me. It's like, oh yeah, I wasn't thinking about this way in which my normal habits of mind might be interfering. And this is a guidepost which can lead me to relinquish that or ease up on that sort of focus. So does that make sense to you?
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
And I think it's delightful to hear people talk about it in a more casual setting than reading a book, Dokusan or whatever. But it is profoundly personal for me. I don't think I would be able to describe it. But anyway, thank you for your discussion of that. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Marla. Okay, well, we're coming close to the end of our time, and Maria, I'm kind of shook up by these events. So let's see, what normally we say the practice principles together. I'm sorry, say again.
Yeah, the 4 practice principles, that's right.
Okay, very good. May I ask if you would lead those, because I have no confidence that I'm going to be connected to the end of this session. And I'll just say I'm going to mute myself, and I am profoundly grateful to everyone for participation today. Thank you.
Thank you, Joel. Caught in a self-centered dream, only suffering, holding to self-centered thoughts, exactly the dream. Each moment, life as it is, the only teacher, being just this moment, compassion's way. Caught in a self-centered dream, only suffering, holding to self-centered thoughts, exactly the dream. Each moment, life as it is, the only teacher, being just this moment, compassion's way. Caught in the self-centered dream, only suffering, holding to self-centered thoughts, exactly the dream. Each moment, life as it is, the only teacher, being just this moment, compassion's way. Thank you. Would you like to say anything, Joel, before we end? Or? Well, thank you all so much for being here, and thank you so much to Joel for persevering and continuing to return, which is a symbol of the practice. Just keep returning, keep coming back, and it was a wonderful example of just don't give up, just keep coming back to the practice. And thank you all so much. And if you'd like to offer Dan, if you feel moved to do so, then please do go to appamada.org /contribute, and there you'll see lots of opportunities to make an offering if you feel like you'd wish to do that. And if you'd like to continue to connect, I don't know about Joel, for a further 30 minutes, then please do join myself and others, and we'll continue on the porch. Just pop yourself into gallery view and we'll all continue for a while longer. Thank you all so much, and thank you all for your patience. Thank you, really appreciated.